So now we need to actually quantify the similarity, right? Because we need to be able to use it somehow. And so we're going to look a little bit at how we do that. This is going to be the most math that you will see in the course. The most in this slide and the next slide. The most math you'll see. And we'll never show this much math again, so just bear with us. Okay, so now suppose you took each of these movies, movies 1 and movies 2, and we plotted them, right? So we plotted the ratings for the movies for different users, and then we have one user, A, coming along this way, and we have another user, B, coming along this way, right? So if user A liked movie 1, we would give it a positive rating, which means that we're going to extend positive this way. Didn't like it, we would give it a negative rating. Okay. Similarly, if user B liked movie 1, we would go up positive, and if we didn't like movie 2, we'd go negative. And then we define these different points, one for each movie 1 and 2. So we could have movie 3, 4, 5, and so on. And then each of the dimensions in the graph are a different user. Okay. So this should give an idea. Okay. So now these values here are some indication of the rating that the user gave the values. Okay. And we'll talk exactly what it is in a second. But the idea here is we want to compare these two lines and see how close they are to one another. Okay. Because if they're really close, like in this case right here that we've drawn, they are really close, right? So user A liked movie 1, so he rated it positive. User A also liked movie 2, so he rated that positive. User B liked movie 1, so he rated that positive, and user B also liked movie 2, so he rated that, granted, more positive, but it is the same. The vectors for movies 1 and movies 2 are both positive, they're both close to one another. So when we look at the angle between the vectors, this angle right here is small because they're pointing in the same direction. What that means is that the users tend to respond the same to those movies because they're pointing in the same direction. Similarly, if we had the angles like this, it would be the same idea. What all this is saying is that one user responded negatively to both movies, but still the same idea applies, is that if a user responds negatively to one movie, it's going to respond negatively to the other, and so on. It's just saying the movies are similar in taste. Now, here's another example. Okay, we're just moving now. We're keeping movie 1 over here. We're moving movie 2 over here. Okay. So now, user A had a positive response to movie 1, negative response to movie 2. User B had a positive response to movie 1 and also a positive response to movie 2. Now this angle is getting a little larger here, and you can see. So now there's not any same directionality here because the users responded differently. Okay, so user 1 liked this movie, didn't like this movie. User 2 liked this movie and liked this movie. So for user 2, there seemed to have been a positive correlation on his view taste, but for user 1 there seemed to have been negative correlation. So right here there's really no correlation at all. Here we have the same thing. It's just now rather than moving user 2's taste, we're going to move user 1's taste. So user B, sorry, not user 2, user 1. User B liked this movie, didn't like this movie. User A liked both movies. Okay, so you see the idea again is that the users are each responding differently. So we can't find a correlation among movie tastes. Okay, we can't say that if one user likes this movie, he's not going to like this movie, or if one user likes this movie, he's going to like this movie, because they don't go in a similar direction. Now, here's the other extreme. Okay, is that in each case, now, user A likes this movie, doesn't like this movie. User B likes this movie, doesn't like this movie, because they're pointing in opposite directions. Now, this is a very dissimilar situation. So when one user likes one movie, he tends to not like the other movie. This angle is larger, and it's getting closer to 180 degrees. Okay, so this is a very dissimilar situation. And this is a very similar situation. This is positive correlation, strong positive correlation. This is a strong negative correlation. This is really no correlation, or none, we'll write. So we want the angle to either be close to 0 degrees, indicating that there's a strong positive correlation, meaning that when one user tends to like one movie, he will like the other one, or we want it negative, which means there's a strong negative correlation, which means that when one user likes one movie, he will not like the other, or if he doesn't like one movie, then he'll tend to like the other.